れたものはいつか思い出すはずでしょう。消えた夢の影を探した寂しさの答え儚さを愛触れてた風に流れて僕は君を愛せていたか少し気づくことが遅すぎだんだん消えてゆく明日さえも崩れ落ちてゆく何もないここで一人きりいつかまた最後の日を迎えられてみれまた生まれ落ちた君が望む日
Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another video. I'm here to talk about this man who shot this teenage kid, but people will try to paint it as if the teenage boy is the victim. But from what I gathered, basically is this teenager and his friends were going out like 3 a.m. during midnight, kicking onto people's doors.
Tonight, an arrest for murder in Virginia after teens tell authorities an age-old childhood prank, the ding-dong ditch, turned deadly. A high school senior shot to death while doing the stunt, his friends say, for a TikTok video. Now the homeowner, Tyler Chase Butler, arrested and accused of second-degree murder. The Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office saying in a press release it was 3 a.m. Saturday morning when they got a call for a burglary in progress where shots were fired. Deputies found 2 people with gunshot wounds on the scene. 18-year-old Michael Bosworth Jr. was transported to a local hospital where he died just hours before his high school prom. His stepfather telling me he was a student athlete who played lacrosse, football, and wrestled, now gone. Another teen grazed with a bullet, telling investigators, according to court records, they weren't trying to break into the home to steal anything. They were just ringing doorbells and running away. And a third teen, not shot, telling authorities the same story and showing police a similar video from earlier that night.
You see, as you notice, the man with the mugshot, the moment he knows the kids were kicking the door in, he literally pulled out his gun and killed one of them and ended up injuring the other.
The question is whether a resident can claim self-defense in such a case.
In Virginia, if you are going to use lethal force, you have to be in fear from the perspective of a reasonable person of bodily harm, great bodily harm, or death.
The sheriff's office saying the Butler is held on no bond at a local jail. We haven't been able to reach him or an attorney. The investigation is still ongoing and may uncover if it really was a ding-dong ditch that led to shots ringing through this neighborhood and a young life lost.
I don't know if this kid was basically the distributor of the prank, or maybe he's just the contributor. So what I mean is I don't know if he's the one that started or he just took part on someone who decided to follow up with the prank. But I'm honestly going to be honest with you guys. I do not feel sorry for the kid in this situation. I do for sure know who the real victim is, and that's the man that you see in the mugshot. Although it may not look like it, looks can be deceiving.
For the first time since he was arrested for second-degree murder, malicious wounding, and firearms charges, Tyler Chase Butler faced a judge this morning. The 27-year-old is ordered to stay in jail without bond after he was accused of shooting and killing 18-year-old Massaponack High senior Michael Bosworth.
You have a male with a gunshot wound to the chest.
The sheriff's office says Butler fired shots at Bosworth and 2 other teenagers because he thought they were breaking into his house along Mackenzie Lane in Fredericksburg. It happened around 3 a.m. Saturday.
Because anybody with common sense, if somebody is literally trying to break in, and even if that may not be the kid's intention, whether it be for a TikTok video, wouldn't it be common sense to ensure that you get the aggressor away from you and your family, and that your family's safety comes first, as well as you protecting yourself? Because you don't know what that person's intentions are, and that's what these pranksters fail to realize, that How is someone supposed to tell whether it's a prank, especially if you're getting violent and you're harassing them?
Here's neighbor Maria Sedlak.
I just woke up and all the house was flashing with blue lights.
Did they kick
doors.
on your door, do you know?
Not on ours.
But you know
and
down
other
here.
neighbors, yes.
The case has sparked a big debate in the Spotsylvania community.
I just feel like it was very unfortunate all the way around. I feel sorry for the parents, but I also feel sorry for my neighbors. If someone came, kicking on my door, like front door, back door, wherever door, we will have been protecting our house too.
Clearly, these kids were hoping to be the next Johnny Knoxville. And who knows, this might have not been the first time, and he's probably gotten tired of it, and he's to the point where he just got fed up and he's just gonna pull a gun and shoot them. So I hate how the media outlet is trying to paint this as the white kid being the victim here, when it's clear as day the man was literally defending himself.
Bosworth's family didn't want to go on camera, but his stepfather tells WSA 9 he was a kid who loved to play lacrosse. He was getting ready to graduate with aspirations of joining the U.S. Marine Corps.
Butler now has a preliminary hearing scheduled in June. He was assigned a public defender this morning. Meantime, friends of Michael Bosworth held a vigil for him last night with the message, "Justice for Mikey."
What? I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
Because I've been noticing that people weren't really being fully open about this by saying what the kid did was wrong. Acting like, oh, that doesn't justify murder, but at the same time it was self-defense.
According to the detective, he and his friends had hit a couple of doors in the neighborhood. The juvenile is not familiar with the neighborhood that they were in. The juvenile said as they were running from a residence, he and his friends were shot at.
Because people just don't seem to have any knowledge how serious home invasions be. This could have been a potential home invasion. Because nowadays, when people decide to break in or kick in your door, you don't know if they're armed, whether they have their knife, or what they plan to do to you. The moment someone decides to get inside, then your life is pretty much risk, and you have no choice. Because who in the world will let a trespasser have their way with them? That's one thing I will never understand. At that point, you have nothing to lose. So the thing is, it's either he ends up losing his life or he ends up going to jail. I would rather go to jail and end up losing my life.
I'm gonna try extremely hard to maintain my composure, and I mean extremely hard.
And no, I'm not gonna feel sorry for the teenagers. If anything, I blame the parents too, because they are the first to try to paint their son as the victim. But at the same time, you need to ask yourself why, and think, why is he even going out at this time at night and going around bothering people? When that's usually the time the kid should be going to sleep. That kid's already past curfew, and already midnight he's going out and trying to go and literally break into people's doors.
Justice for Mikey.
So how? Because people are literally ignoring all the red flags that this kid has done as well, along with his friends. Because if anything, they were the instigators, and they should be held accountable. People fail to realize that if you go out of your way and start harassing people, expect some sort of repercussions. And again, even the amount of pranksters that have been confronted, because there has been several instances where they were literally pranksters, end up getting shot, they end up losing their life. This isn't the first, so this isn't new to me. But even till this day, is that even when they follow up with the prank, is that there'll be somebody that either takes their place, or very rarely is that some of them will come back and do the same thing after they make a full recovery. So I'm hoping the man actually is somehow to make a quick, easy bail without any charge, because now this is clearly not only a misunderstanding, but this is just convoluted in my opinion. Anybody with a brain would know that he did whatever he could that any other person would in that situation in order to protect himself, because you can't predict what that person might be willing to do to you, because you have no way of being clear of their true intentions. So he did whatever he could in order to make sure that his life wasn't jeopardized, and possibly his family, whoever is living with him. So 100% I can't fathom with how the law is treating him, And I 100% resent what these kids did. And in a way, it's like it was justified. Because sometimes it'll have to take some sort of casualty for some people to realize that there are consequences for your actions. And that the true victim is the one that's being publicly accused and targeted, which obviously happens to be the man. Not only did those teenagers come after him, but the cops did, simply because he put himself in a predicament where he had the right to defend himself, regardless how other people felt. Because trust me, if that was me, had that been me, there's no way I would have let someone off the hook like that. Because who knows whether these kids have been doing it before and specifically targeting this man, but there has to be some logical reason, and there was indication that they've been doing it to several other people. So someone from one of those buildings would eventually be the one to actually keep these teenagers away, as well as preventing them doing what they're doing right now. So even though it cost them their lives, at the same time it's affected this man's life, where he has spent some time in jail. But I honestly don't believe he deserves life, because whether people are looking at this as a misunderstanding, it's clear as day that he's the real victim, and he had no right being in prison in the first place. And I do wish to send my condolences, and hopefully he makes a quick, easy bail without having to pay any fine, and that there's no accountability that he has to take, since he pretty much did whatever he can. So he was in a situation where he had nothing to lose, and for that I give him credit.
Until then, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. No more talk.
But overall, I feel like I said enough for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to check for more upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.
Linger